They're all E0. We're gonna try to auto everything and then compare every light cone in Memory of Chaos 12 to see if anything stands out. Can we get a perfect score or will we fail? See what happens. And then Detonate Arcana. Oh, this is gonna be huge. 277,000. Oh, I don't even need to play the game. The optimization for Black Swan autoplay is pretty good. There we go, 40,000. I mean, what else can you do, right? Wow, perfect score auto battle. You're kidding me. Black Swan is just the meta for auto battle. Black Swan Kafka, you can't go wrong. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and try to see how OP the auto battle meta is with Black Swan and obviously Forgotten Hall and Memory of Chaos. That's the more important game mode in my opinion. Pure Fiction, that's a joke.
It became personal with me.
That's called foreshadowing.
So what is up, YouTube? We are taking a break from our F2P account to test out the most disgusting new auto meta. As you guys saw, we deleted the new Pure Fiction with a perfect score and using our budget E0 S0 Black Swan. But what about Memory of Chaos 12? Because it doesn't favor Nihility characters, it doesn't favor dot characters, it favors only hunt and destruction characters right now. Let's see if you can auto everything with the new F2P craftable light cone. Then we'll test and compare every light cone in a practical setting so you can see which one is best fit for you. And you will be surprised by the result. And disclaimer, this is my main account where I basically tried to find the best auto battle team with E0 characters. No signature light cones, no eidolons, just the characters themselves. And I think we might have found her. So as you guys know, the MOC Turbulence buff is not favorable for Nihility characters. Here the buffs are currently favoring Hunt and Destruction characters, giving them an extra action at the start of each cycle. But that didn't matter as our Black Swan Kafka team was able to auto MOC 8, 9, and 10 in 2, 4, and 2 cycles respectively. As for MOC 11, oh boy, that floor folded like a cheap pair of lawn chairs. Oh, do you guys remember the Automaton Gatekeeper that kept locking us down back in the days? All right, goodbye. He didn't even get to summon his fish. That's ridiculous. My guy literally got one shot. He didn't even get to go fishing. Okay, my guy came and go faster than Playboy Cardi. You know, like 2024 music. Thank you. Back to the studio. That's what the Automaton was like. In and out. Quick, easy, 2 mil. Yeah, it doesn't feel good to not be able to play the game now, huh? You evil, evil little robot. So yeah, we only needed 3 cycles to auto MOC 11 with a free-to-play light cone. But what about MOC 12? Here, the enemy's weaknesses aren't extremely favorable at all for a dual element comp like Kafka and Black Swan. But let's see if our Big Mom Energy team can 3-star it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're about to see the world first, I don't know, this new light cone. I'm broke. No. Hey, you know, sometimes when you're broke, you gotta... It is what it is, boys and girls. It is what it is. Free to play, by the way. Your #1 mint picker here, by the way. But yeah, Kafka, Fermata. This is a craftable Fermata S5. Traces 1099, not fully maxed out yet. And then relics, of course, the 4-piece prison using attack % body, speed, lightning % orb, and attack % rope. So the stats aren't too great on her either, right? 136 speed is pretty abysmal compared to other people that have like 160 speed. Black Swan, the effect hit rate is low. Unfortunately, that's the downside of running a light cone that doesn't have effect hit rate. And yeah, I mean, she's running effect hit rate body with effect hit rate substats, speed, you know, the normal stuff, wind damage boost, and attack % rope. I would use an attack % here. The difference is very minimal, especially since we're using this light cone that gives us 30% attack. And then our Ranmei, it's pretty standard, right? Brick effect build with the past memories, 4-piece thief sets. Traces are 889, running energy regen, HP %, speed, defense, just tanky brick effect. That's all she is. And our Fushuan tank build, just HP and defense stack with energy regen and speed. I like cone day 1 of my new life and 2-piece plus 2-piece. So our first half team with Jinglu hypercarry with Tingyun, Branya was able to get us through with 4 cycles, but that is to be expected of our hypercarry Jinglu, the best DPS in the game. Now let's see if our Black Swan and Kafka team with Ranmei and Fushuan will be able to essentially take down our Kafka enemy, right? Fushuan's ability to deny the enemy the ability to lock us down is very important. However, there's so much CC, as you guys will see later on, with Kafka's dominate, with the Automaton's ability to reverberate.
But I'm not a rapper.
it doesn't even matter. Fushuan still isn't enough to stop the enemies from CCing our team. It will get really RNG later. And as for our team, I want Fushuan to be going right before Kafka so that Fushuan could normal attack. That will allow us to have Kafka do her follow-up attack. Once her follow-up attack is done, she can then take her turn, skill, detonate whatever she needs to, and then she will have her follow-up attack back up again. This is very important to allow us to kind of min-max Kafka's follow-up attack. Black Swan, of course, is going to be our fastest character. She's going to need to be the one that goes first to apply the defense shred as well as to apply the Arcana stack so that Kafka could detonate something at least. So that's essentially my goal for my team. The ordering for them is, of course, going to be Black Swan, Fushuan, and then Kafka, and then Run Mei, right? The other big issue about this floor is that this Stormbringer here, it's very tanky. That's one of the reasons why I had so much trouble, because the only person that could break it is Run Mei. And so Kafka and Black Swan are doing mitigated amount of damage to it. So it's going to take a little bit of time to chunk it down. Oh boy, 22 cycle left. Yes! That's what we like to see. No lockdown on our characters. You can't lock us down, girls. You can't lock us down. Okay, this is not good. Okay,
So that was a fucking lie.
well, I spoke a little too soon, but that's okay. It's gonna attack us and it's gonna free Kafka up. That's perfect. Now Kafka can ultimate and detonate her charges, and there we go. Run Mei skill into an ultimate. That's going to give us the shred that we need. And Kafka has 18 Arcana stacks on her. That's going to be able to shred her real quick right now. Ooh, look at that damage. Beautiful, beautiful. And there we go. Kafka should be able to take this guy out. And now we only have Kafka to take out Kafka. Kafka versus Kafka love, you know what I mean? Hopefully, we're at 21 cycles. I don't think we can clear this in 21, but we're so close. I'm pretty sure we should be able to get this in 20 cycles, though. I'm praying. It could be a little closer than I think it'd be, but I'm pretty sure we got it. Kafka's going to ultimate here, detonate the Arcana stacks. And there we go. Yep, 2% left. I think this is it. This is easy as it can get. Easy money. We had so much room left over too. That's nice. Oh, that is absolutely broken. 20 cycles remaining. I am happy with that. That is perfect. So there we go. We were able to comfortably auto MOC 12 second half with Black Swan and Kafka in 6 cycles using the craftable light cone Showtime. So my verdict on this team is that it's honestly the best auto battle team currently against any enemies. The defense and all type res pen from Black Swan and Run Mei is just too good. As you guys saw, regardless of the enemy's weakness, they were pretty efficient in getting the job done. Now that you saw what an F2P craftable light cone can do, what about the other light cone options like Good Night Sleep Well before the tutorial mission starts, and of course her signature light cone, as well as even Pearl Sweat? Well, let's take a look and see. As you guys probably saw from simulated calculations, these are basically the calculations for the light cones, ranking them in kind of their effectiveness. But let's see if this holds true. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go with each light cone, do about 3 to 5 rounds each with each light cone in Memory of Chaos 12 second half. Of course, the sample size isn't too big, but our goal here is to kind of get to see if there's a big outlier, meaning something that is going to be so absurdly OP or something that is so absurdly bad. And in this case, for the Showtime light cone, I was able to do it in 3 attempts. The first 2 attempts, I was able to complete it within 19 cycles, but the 3rd attempt yielded us 20 cycles. Overall, this light cone felt pretty solid. However, I felt like it was still lacking a bit in the effect hit rate category since, yeah, we were missing that stat heavily, 40% to be exact. But it was still able to get the job done, so I will put it in A tier. As for the before the tutorial mission light cone, this one was surprisingly good. In the first auto battle attempt, it was able to get 19 cycles remaining. However, the second one, it got 20 cycles, but it almost even got 21 cycles. Very close. And for the final attempt that I did with it, it comfortably got 20 cycles. So overall, I feel like this light cone, very solid. I would put it in the same category as its Showtime. I think its Showtime might slightly be a bit better once I get to Imposition 5, but overall, I think this lightcone is just very solid. It gets us the 40% effect hit rate that we need, and essentially the extra energy could be good in certain situations as well. But for auto battle, the energy isn't really that necessary. I think it's more important to get damage, and that's why our next light code, Good Night Sleep Well, man, this one's insane. So for S5 Good Night Sleep Well, this light cone absolutely just blew the other ones out of the water. It was able to get 21 cycles multiple times. So the first attempt, I got 20 cycles comfortably with a lot of extra room to work with. And then the second attempt, I was able to get 21 cycles remaining. And the third attempt, I was also able to get another 21 cycle remaining. So overall, this light cone is very solid for auto battle. Even though we're missing the effect hit rate, it's very good. I did use an attack percent sphere, so I did switch out my wind damage sphere for an attack percent sphere, since we do not need that extra damage percent due to how much we are getting from Run May and due to how much we are getting from Good Night Sleep Well. I would put this light cone, let's put it in S tier, because this light cone is very solid if you have it at S5. All right, next up we have Resolution Shines as Pearls of Sweat. This one, I unironically thought it was going to do pretty poorly, but it ended up doing not too bad. For my first attempt, I got 20 cycles right away, almost 21 even, and then it kind of dipped, and then on the second attempt it got 19 cycles, but then on this final attempt it got 20 cycles. So overall it's about that level of like it's showtime around there, but I don't think it's as good because I think it might be compounded by the fact that the turbulence buff also had defense shred, because the more defense shred you have, the more scaling your damage does. I think this light cone is an outlier. If you have it at high imposition and you don't have anything else that is high imposition, I would definitely recommend using this light cone, as it's also a good light cone for other support units like Pella. So it's an overall a very good universal light cone. And finally, the signature light cone. Oh boy, this one surprised me. I was actually shocked by how poor it performed. So I did use the attack percent sphere and the damage percent sphere just to make sure that this isn't an outlier or I'm doing something wrong. I double checked the stats. I double checked everything. But for the signature light cone, unironically performed on the similar level as Good Night Sleep Well. Disclaimer, for auto battle, if you were to manual, I would assume that the signature light cone would perform a bit better. But for the auto battle situation, the signature light cone, on my first attempt, I got 20. On the second attempt, I got 20. On the third attempt, I got 20 cycles remaining. Then finally, on my fourth attempt. Okay, there we go. I think this one is 21 cycles. Yeah, there we go. Our first 21 cycle after fourth or fifth attempt. And it wasn't like a dominant 21 cycles remaining. It was like, oh, we barely scraped through the finish line. So that got me worrying. Overall, I was way too optimistic about this light cone. I thought it was going to be like whole cycle above Good Night Sleep Well. And so I decided to use a percent damage sphere instead of an attack percent damage sphere, just to double check to test things out, right? And it was worse, which makes sense, right? Because we have so much damage percent from Run May, so much percent damage from our other sources. Another reason to why the light cone underperformed, in my opinion, is that it's because it's a dual DPS comp. So she's not the only one doing all the damage. Kafka is also doing the damage. So the damage pool is also shared. So it's not like we're front loading all the damage onto Jinglu and she's the one that's gonna be the hyper carry to deal all the damage. It's kind of like reducing your power by 20%. 50% is shared between Kafka, 50% is shared between Black Swan. A 20% reduction to 50% is a lot less than a 20% reduction to 100%. If you get what I mean. So I don't know, maybe it was just my situation, maybe the sample size was a little too small, but whatever the case may be, it's obvious that the light cone isn't super overpowered. It's not like, oh, it stands out from the rest by a mile. It's pretty decent, but if you have an S5 of another light cone, it's relatively just a slightly bit behind. As for Eyes of Prey, this light cone is very similar to Good Night Sleep Well. The difference is that it has 40% effect hit rate. A little bit of that gets converted to dot damage percent, so therefore it's pretty much relatively the same. I would give the edge to Eyes of the Prey just because the effect hit rate is pretty good against enemies that have really high resistances. Really, I don't have an S5 to test it, but I could already tell you it's gonna be slightly better than Good Night Sleep Well. So here's my final tier list for Black Swan's light cone. I still think the signature is definitely the best, but not by far since she's not the only DPS carry on the team. Eyes of Prey is a good second, then Good Night Sleep Well would be my third. Then everything else is relatively close to each other. So the TLDR is use whatever you want that has higher imposition, as the relative power level between the light cones aren't too different. But overall, I feel that Black Swan and Kafka have reliably made auto battle meta again for F2P and low budget players. You don't need on May, you could input something like Ting Yun, Silverwolf, or Pella, or any other support there would still be fine. And oh yeah, apologies. This video was supposed to come out yesterday, but I decided that it was a great idea to eat Popeyes for the 3rd time after getting food poisoned the first 2 times. And now I have a stomach ache. I don't think it's food poisoning, but my stomach does hurt a lot. I don't know, guys. It's the wings, man. Those wings are pretty good, not gonna lie, but I learned my lesson.
I don't think so.
Okay, I didn't learn my lesson before, but now I did. It's the 3rd time, but now I did, okay? Will Zeto learn his lesson to not eat Popeyes ever again? Or will he quadruple down and order it once more? Subscribe to find out in the next video. Bye now. Bye. See ya. Bye.